Hello everyone, welcome back to the HCW show. My name is RGX, joined as always by Frozzy. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad, pal. Not too bad. Looking forward to a long week of wrestling, but good wrestling from what I've seen or heard so far. I'm literally planning to watch Smackdown, Raw, and Dynamite on Thursday because I'm off. So it was like, if I watch them all Thursday, it's all there. It's fresh, ready for the review.
Not a bad tactic at all. I'll
No.
keep spoilers to a minimum. So if
Yeah.
you're here to watch a video on returns and stuff, I will mention a bit that's just following on from last week, including one you've probably been spoiled on already, but the return of a certain original group of three.
Yes, I already know about these, so yeah, feel free to talk about it.
It's time for HCW News.
So on Friday, Hit Row, obviously minus Swerve Strickland, has been re-signed to the company. They were a very big project to Triple H's, very charismatic, had a good start in the main roster, then all of a sudden B-Fab was let go, then 2 weeks later so were the rest of Hit Row. So Triple H has brought them back in as of last Friday. It looks like they're going to be competing primarily as a tag team with B-Fab as a manager, which is good by me because B-Fab was really green.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, all these ones that supposedly had attitude problems and everything that came out after releases. If they were so bad, why are they being brought back? One has to wonder.
Yeah, I mean,
It's almost as if those stories might not have been true and just made them look bad to not get signed anywhere on the way out.
no, they won't put a stunt like that. Don't be silly.
No, true. So, speaking of returns, Trish Stratus has announced that she's going to be doing a couple of the house shows when WWE go to Canada next week. Now, there's nothing in here about a TV return. It's just the Saturday and Sunday main event show and Sunday Stunner event, both taking place in Ontario. She tweeted out on her Twitter and on her website that she's going to be back for those. So it just says that she's appearing, not that she's wrestling. So who knows? But she strikes me as one that could probably still have one or two matches in her. Last time,
she had some not long ago, didn't she? So it's not like she's completely like full of rust. Yeah, there'll be ring rust there, but she can still put on a good match. So
if only WWE has some sort of centre that for performance that allows them to practice and rehearse matches and
I know, yeah,
and shake off the ring rust.
It'd be helpful, wouldn't it? Someone should pitch that idea.
No, in fairness, Trish looked really good last time we saw her against Charlotte. Obviously, she was the very epitome to begin with of the model trained to be a wrestler, but she really took to it, and many have kind of followed her footsteps off the back of that. So, if it's just for the live fans, fair enough, but it'd be good to get a Raw appearance at least off of it.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of TV tapings though, a bit of sad news, there's currently no TV tapings scheduled for NXT UK. Now, it has been a bit quiet over the last few months there, and as you know, they record, when they do record their TV, it's months behind by the time it actually comes out. Obviously, we had the whole thing about Dragunov relinquishing the UK Championship. That actually happened a good month or so beforehand.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of uneasiness backstage as to the future of the brand. Now, with it being a kind of Triple H vision in its entirety, you've got to believe he's quite protective of that. So anyone with a modicum of talent will probably get brought over to the US if they're willing to relocate anyway.
Yeah, I can't see why. Like, I get that there's cancelled tapings and stuff like that. The reason's a bit weird that'd make you fear for it, but yeah, if you're talented enough, you're probably going to be asked to move to America.
Yeah. It's not like they've got exclusive rights on the guys as well. A lot of the NXT UK guys still compete in the UK indies all over. The only thing they're not allowed to do is appear on TV, which we don't have any televised shows since the World of Sport reboot fell off.
Yeah.
So hopefully the guys are kept in work. I've got a lot of, I say friends, like people I know from the HCW scene that have either been signed with them or have been. So I really wish them best of luck. I'm sure 90% of them will probably get brought over to America if the brand's even shutting down at all.
Yeah.
It's just at this point, all we know is there's no TV tapings. We're just speculating. But it was kind of interesting considering they are fully up to date on content essentially. I think they've got one more episode coming up for next Thursday, and then there's no more content recorded as far as I'm aware. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Now, moving over to AEW, Kris Statlander, who we know recently injured her opposite knee this time, and it is looking like she's going to need surgery on her cruciates. Word is that she was scheduled for a big push. We could kind of see it as being either her or Athena being the one to take the TBS championship from Jade, and I would have been all for that. I'm a big fan of Statlander and her work, and I'm quite sad to see that she's going to be out for a while, but she's by far not done yet. I just hope that she makes like a quick and speedy recovery from it.
Yeah, I think they'll keep the push there for her as well, depending on who the champion is at the time. And she'll probably come back and get, like, what bigger way to come back than from 2 big leg injuries to take a TBS title. I mean, it's crap for her now, but there's going to be a brighter side coming up for her, definitely.
Yeah, God forbid it turns into a Tegan Knox situation.
Yeah,
I always felt so bad for that last and then losing her job, so I do hope Triple H brings Tegan Knox back at some point.
Yeah,
but I'd hate to see Kris Statlander now fall into a cycle of injuries. Yeah. She's far too good for that to happen, so fingers crossed she's back on TV sooner rather than later, but healthy and fully recovered.
Yep.
And as of just about an hour or so ago, the WWE Q2 investors call just wrapped up. And on that call, they announced a couple of things. Now, first off, WrestleMania ticket sales are the fastest they've ever sold. Now, take this with a pinch of salt because it is another 2-night WrestleMania. This time it's in Los Angeles, a much bigger stadium and a place that's a lot easier for international markets to get to.
Yeah.
But apparently in the last kind of week or so that it's been on sale, they've already sold 90,000 tickets, which is a huge number. But lest we forget, that's over 2 nights, so that's not all for one night. It's not all 2-night tickets. It's just tickets of any fashion.
Yeah. Is it hold 55,000? Is it?
I think it's more than that. I think it's about 90 to 100,000. The SoFi Stadium holds.
I must have been reading the wrong thing. I'm sure it said 55,000. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with it. That's still impressive.
Well, it's massive, like, even if it was 55,000, but think about the last big NFL stadium they ran in, they claimed to have like 100,000 in attendance.
Yeah.
So the stock price is going up. They're having their most profitable quarter off the back of Vince McMahon leaving. But it's not all good news. On that call, they did announce that WWE have essentially, for all intents and purposes, substantially completed, and I'll use that in quotes because that is their words, substantially completed the investigations into Vince McMahon's conduct. Now, bear with me as I'm kind of reading through this. It's a lot of law speak, so I'll try my best to laymanise it. But essentially, it resigned from all positions held in the company in July 22, but remains a stockholder with a controlling interest. And it names and another executive who is also no longer with the company. So they're not even naming Laurinaitis, which is interesting. They say that the findings of the investigation identified agreements executed by Mr. McMahon which were previously unknown to the company. On July 25, 2002, it announced that it had determined certain payments that Mr. McMahon agreed to pay during the period of from 2006 through 2022 totaled $14.6 million. They subsequently identified 2 additional payments totaling $5 million. However, these are unrelated to the alleged misconduct that led to the Special Committee investigation. And those were made in 2007 and 2009. So that rules out the speculation that there were payments towards Trump's political campaign.
Yeah.
I know that was one of the series that was going about. That's what it was for. I won't go any further detail on that. Just that the timing proves that it's not that. But they've decided to count those expenses towards the second quarter of 2022, so the quarter just gone, and the previous end quarter of the 21-22 financial year. They all will be reclaiming that money from Vince, be it through court or if he's voluntarily paying it, whatever. But there's no word at all on any litigation, prosecution, anything like that in this report. But again, this is the WWE investors call. It's not FTC's filings or anything like that. So yeah, it's all quite interesting on that front.
I think that's the sort of thing you expect from an internal investigation. I didn't really expect them to say much else, so for now it's probably what everyone expected, apart from the fact that the extra $5 million wasn't to fund Trump.
Essentially they weren't going to come out and say Vince McMahon was a randy old bugger who paid off women using company money. They were never going. That was never going to be the findings of the report.
No.
So, yeah, obviously with all the Vince McMahon situation happening, we've had a few weeks now of a Triple H vision of Raw and Smackdown. So far, that vision is good, but word is that they're kind of holding off on any further returns and repackages, name changes just now until after Clash, because word is there will be a draft taking place on Monday the 5th and the following Smackdown Friday the 9th, and concluding the following Raw on the 12th. And I believe this because all Raw and Smackdown superstars have been asked to be in attendance for those shows. So it looks like we're getting a draft coming through, which I am absolutely all for.
Yep.
Though I won't go too much into Raw, but bear in mind how small the rosters are. How we've not had some of these matches before is astounding, and it just shows how much Vince loved a rematch and would actually forget who had wrestled each other. So, although we're seeing a lot of kind of first time ever and or first time in a long time matches, the rosters are still quite stale. And of course, the networks will have a big say in who they want on the shows as well. Because Raw especially has been lacking a main event level talent. That wasn't always supposed to be the case. Obviously, Cody got injured. He was going to slide straight into that top babyface role in Raw. But Roman Reigns not being on Raw that much has not helped things at all.
No.
So, with that in mind, and just kind of tie into it, our video tomorrow will be me and Frozzy doing our Raw and Smackdown fantasy drafts. So we will draft our own rosters for Raw and Smackdown. Myself being Smackdown GM, Frozzy being Raw GM. Now, a few of the rules I'll go over in more detail in the video tomorrow, but we will be treating it as if Roman only holds one title and the other title is vacant. Whichever brand gets Roman, the vacated title will be on the other brand, and they can have a main event match to determine who wins the vacated second title. Obviously, that won't happen in real life. But
imagine.
But this is how we are doing it, so it's at least a fair one. So I feel that Roman just brand hopping's a bit of a cop out. Same with the Usos.
Yep.
So we'll be putting that out tomorrow. And a bit of HCW news. You may have seen our tweet earlier, but after 23 episodes of the main HCW podcast, we have taken the decision to continue that as a YouTube exclusive, just so all of our content is under the same umbrella. With it being an audio podcast, it was kind of restricting us in what we could do on the show, because we were constantly thinking, well, how will that come across if you're just listening to it? So we've taken a decision just to put the audio version of the podcast on hiatus just now and see where we can take our podcast on the YouTube channel. We have experienced a huge amount of growth in our socials and on YouTube, and we want to take advantage of that and keep pushing. So please join us on that journey. Obviously hit the like, subscribe button, all the usual YouTube jazz. Our socials are in the Discord. That includes our Twitter for each member of the podcast team, as well as the show Twitter, which is at honour_club. That is honour with a U because we are British. And stay tuned because we have so much cool stuff coming up. Our boy DP has been attending and will be attending many UK independent shows over the next few months. He showed me his schedule. I think he's got 6 in the next 8 weeks or something crazy like that.
Yeah, and he was talking about going to another one on Sunday as well as Rev Pro. I mean,
the man's dedicated.
Yes, he is.
And the bug has rubbed off on us, because I think we're all going to individual indie shows and getting back to our indie roots, because we're taking a huge focus on spotlighting the UK independent scene, and the best way to do that is to be out there and watching and supporting UK indie wrestling. So I will be at SWA on October 22nd at Motherwell. Rate has a few Kamikaze Pro shows coming up, including one he was at recently. We've got a small event taking place in Cardiff that one of the promotions is putting on, that we're all kind of meeting up for. So that show in Cardiff should be quite good. I've not heard of the company that's putting it on, but they're running quite a big stadium, so I'd imagine it's going to be quite big.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is our show, everybody. I'm kind of rambling here at the end, so we'll wrap things up. So have you anything to say to the people before we let them go?
No, just keep subscribing, keep liking, commenting. Just let us know, like on the Twitter. RGX puts a lot of tweets out on the show's Twitter. Just keep interacting. If there's anything you want to see, anything that we're doing that you don't like, or anything that you want to see us do, absolutely, just put your ideas across, because we're open to new ideas.
Indeed. So thank you everyone for joining us. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Adios.